I'm gone. I was working as a secretary making $90 a week because there was never enough money. My dream of continuing on to New York City was growing dimmer and dimmer. I was going steady with a handsome young man, and my mom was so hoping that I was going to get married. Until one morning, I'm having morning coffee with my dad. He used to drive me to my office in his coal truck. And there's an announcement on the local radio. We are looking for the Miss Glamour Girl of Johnstown. And they gave details of the beauty contest. My father looks across the table and says, "Well, daughter, are you going to enter?" I said, "Are you kidding? How could you enter yourself into a beauty contest? How conceited can you be? What, you're afraid to lose?" Beauty contest was held at the Embassy Theater in downtown Johnstown. It was an old movie house with big chandeliers, red carpeting, brass railing around the orchestra pit. And as I stood there, the winner, holding this beautiful spray of roses, listening to the thunderous applause, the whistles, the blaring music, and reeling off all these prizes I had won, including an expense-free trip to Miami Beach. But my fondest memory was seeing my chubby little mother running down the center aisle. Behind her was Aunt Millie. I'm looking down at them at the railing of the orchestra pit. Aunt Millie is crying. My mother's arms are going to... She's looking up at me. I love you. I'm so proud of you. She was beaming. She was more lit up than the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. Seeing her that happy was my true grand pride. So, there I was, Miss Glamour Girl of Johnstown. Glamour in Johnstown, PA? Glamour, that we got. Roaring, blasting furnaces, making our sky a brilliant red, shutting out the sun. Freight trains clacking through town. At noon, of families, you had to talk loud just to be heard. Glamour? Although I did have a very glamorous week in Miami. My sponsors wine and dine. So I got a lot of publicity in our local newspaper. And lo and behold, don't I get a phone call from our local TV station. My first TV show was The Record Rack. The studio was about as big as this alcove. My partner was the news anchor. We stood in front of a cardboard box, no script, we just ad-libbed, and I would answer the phone, taking requests from our viewers. And while the record played, we would play film from our local dances, or if my brothers were home from college, they'd come up and jitterbug with me. This was live, 5 days a week, 5 to 6 p.m. Paid, there was a perk to it. The station provided me with a car. The car was needed to get up and down the mountain where the studio was. But it was a new green Chevy Bel Air. We had never had a new car than Baby Clifford. That car didn't move without his calling out to go in it. When the car wasn't in use, it was usually parked near the back porch. The back porch was Clifford's playpen, or I really should say, pig pen. Because daily, every day, these chugging, coal-burning locomotives would chug through. And with every chug, 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 this porch had to be swept clean. So, one evening, as Brother Bob was dashing out to pick me up at the station, he just naturally scooped up Cliff and took him with us. As they arrived at the studio, they were playing Tennessee Ernie Ford's 16 Tons. And this was a baby's favorite. He would of playing in the playpen. When I got home, I found my mother at the kitchen table, head in hand. Babe, how could you do this to your mother? Now everybody knows your mother had the dirtiest baby in town. I did more shows, the weather, fashion shows, even the quiz shows. I was getting a lot of attention. Miss Glamour Girl Johnstown was becoming a local celebrity. My office was 2 stories above the Woolworths 5 and Dime. So usually, about 10 o'clock each morning, I would go down and have my coffee break at the counter. And I noticed more often than not, a very distinguished man would be seated there. Well-tailored suit, silk necktie. He smoked with a cigarette holder. One day, he finally came over and introduced himself. Thereafter, having coffee with him became a daily ritual. One morning, he said to me, "You have too much, my dear, you have too much class for Johnstown. Why aren't you in New York?" So I give him my tale that while working in Washington, short visit, I learned that our mother, at the age of 44, was about to have our 8th child. So not only did she need me, but the money that I had saved was quickly needed too. You're not in New York just because of money? Duh. So the next morning you get down to the counter, he's like, "I'm going to burn it up. I don't need it. It's yours. No strings attached. I just want you to go to New York, where you belong." At home, my mother looks at this envelope with a check. She looks down at it, looks up at me at her baby blues, and she says, "I'll be a son of a bitch." Well, babe, I guess you're finally going to New York.